Okay, let's do it. So we'll actually start laying down on your back. And let's have a blanket handy because later we'll roll onto one side. You want that for your head, and then a strap handy as well. And I'm just going to talk you through this first part, and then I'll join you in a little bit. So, as you first come to lie down, you can, you're fine. Any way that you're comfortable is good. So you can have the legs bent or straight. You can have the arms way out wide or in close, whatever feels good. And we'll take a little check-in, just a little kind of baseline assessment, noticing just how your body lands against the floor. And for today in particular, we'll notice the back of the pelvis and the curvature of your lumbar spine. So notice there if the back of, notice if it feels like you're tilted either more towards the tailbone or towards the top of the pelvis. And then also notice if one side of the pelvis feels more weighted than the other. And then while we're here, let's check up a little higher, noticing the shoulder blades. Same thing, is one side heavier, one side higher or lower. And just notice how your neck feels and how your head is placed. Very gently, we'll just take a little roll of your head, a little turn from side to side. And from here, let the head relax, and if it would feel good to take a little bit of a stretch here, you might reach the arms and maybe take a little side bend. Just kind of take some wiggles here into your body. And then when you're ready, we'll roll over onto one side, and it doesn't really matter which side you're on. So just pick a side, and I'll suggest something under the head so the head is supported. And let's have the knees bent and one leg stacked on top of the other. Yeah. And then from here, think about whatever the top side is and move that half of the pelvis down in the direction of your feet and then just back to neutral. So it's a small movement. You'll do that a few times, and if you want to use your hand as a little assister, you can. Or you can just let the arm rest either on the leg or in front of you. So again, here it's the top half of the pelvis, and it's moving down in the direction of your feet and then back to neutral. And just take that a few times. It's nice and gentle. You might feel the underside of the waist lift up every time the hip goes down. Yeah, and then we'll pause, and now we'll go up in the direction of your head. So that side of the hip creep up, and back to neutral, and just do that a few more times. Nice small little movement. And from here, let's go up, and then all the way from the up to the down position. So just a few times, kind of like you're walking, except you're laying on your side. And notice if it's easier for your body to do the up or the down. And then let's pause just back in neutral again. Take a moment. And now we'll glide the top, the whole leg really, it'll glide a little forward. And if you look at the knees, the top knee goes maybe an inch ahead of the bottom. It's not much. And then you'll come back to neutral, back to center, and do that one a few times. So again, these movements are small. And the next time you're back to neutral, we'll go back. So let the top leg glide a little back, and then return to center. We'll do that one a few more times. Yeah. And you probably guessed it, we'll go both. So go from the back to the front. And a couple more times, just like that. And then we'll pause the next time you come to the front. Stay there. And then glide up towards your head, like that, and then down towards your foot. So it's a 4 spots, forward, up, back, and down. And see if you can start to smooth that out. So it's less of a 4 corners and more of a circle. Exactly. And you might feel other things moving. You might feel a little movement in the shoulders and the whole trunk of the body, the spine a little bit. That's fine. Great. Can you reverse the direction of the circle? Because that's a little brain teaser. Awesome. And then just take a little pause, take a breath in and out. And then we'll do that little pattern again on the second side, but let's roll over onto your back first. And just take a little check-in. We won't be here long, but notice if there's any notable difference between the right side and the left from doing that. In particular, the weight of the pelvis. Sometimes one side feels a little lower, closer to the floor than the other. So let's roll over and we'll set up for side 2. So again here, the knees are bent, the legs are stacked, some support underneath the head. And then we'll start just with the down. So glide the top hip down and then back to neutral. You do that a few times. You might notice right away that this side is different. For me, my right side has a lot more range of motion than the left. And then let's try the up. So you'll glide the hip up and back to center. Do that one a couple times more. And then from the up position, we'll go to the down position and go back and forth with that one a few times. Great, and then let's pause in the center and just take a moment. And then let's see what happens when we glide forward. So the top leg goes a little ahead of the bottom leg, and then back to center. Just nice and easy with that. It's a really small movement. And the next time we're back to center, we'll go the other direction. So gliding the top of back. And then center. Do that one a couple of times more. That's it. And then from the back position, let's go all the way to the forward position. And take that one. Sit your own pace. And then the next time we come forward, we'll stay. Let's glide up towards your head, back, and then down towards your feet. So we're making a circle. I guess at this point it's kind of a square. Let's start to smooth it out so it's a little rounder. We'll take a few rounds and then we'll change to the other direction. Great. And then let's take a little pause. Take a breath in and a breath out. You ready? We'll return to lie on your back once again. Just notice what you notice. Right side, left side. Maybe the floor. If there's any change in the lumbar curve, sometimes that happens too. And then even though we were not directly working with the neck, let's take a little head turn and you might notice that there's a difference there as well. Great. And then let's let the head rest. And we'll shift gears a little bit. Staying on your back, let's set up the strap here. So the strap will ultimately go around the right foot. And you can set it up any way you like. So if you like to have a loop in it, you can set that. Or if you want to just have one hand on each side, that'll work too. So I'm going to do this one sitting. And we'll take the right leg up into the strap. Left leg can be bent or straight. That's up to you. Yeah, and then once you're in position here, just take a moment for anything at all. A lot of times, especially early in the day, the hamstrings are a little tight. If you want to bend and straighten the knee, you can do that. If you want to point and flex the foot, that's an option. Yeah, if you want to move the leg kind of forward and back, that's another option. I'm just throwing stuff out, but you can take anything. And I'll be more specific momentarily in the instructions. Right, and then let's pause here and take a little bend in the right knee. And before we straighten the leg here, notice if the pelvis has kind of tucked itself under and the low back is pressing into the floor. See if you can regain your normal lumbar curve. Keep that, and as you go straighter in the leg, actively press the foot into the strap. Yeah, great. Let's keep that idea. And then take some tiny little circles, using your arms to steer. So your circles, your foot is just drawing a circle on the ceiling. Great. And then let's go the other direction with the circling. Nice. All right, guys. So we're going to do the second version of this. We'll do it two different ways. For the moment, let's have the left knee bent, so the bottom leg bent, put on the floor. Pass both pieces of the strap into the right hand. And then as we take right leg to the right, let the bent left knee go to the left. So both legs ultimately are opening. So right leg goes to the right, left knee goes to the left. And try to be as level as you can be across the back of the pelvis for this one. Now, some of you will want more stretch in the inner thigh. If that's you, pick up the left leg and hold on to it with the left hand so the foot will hover a little bit off the floor. And that's only if you want more. If you're fine where you are, you'll stay put. Yeah. All right. And then from here, let's return to center. For the next version of this, stretch the left leg long on the floor. Yeah? And then let's pay attention to the left leg and press out through your heel. And imagine a cute little baby elephant has sat upon the left thigh, and that's not going to move. Yeah? So keep the left thigh down as we slowly take the right leg out to the right. Again. Now, for this version, because you're keeping the left thigh down, you might not go over as far, and you likely won't get as much of a stretch in the inner thigh. Yeah, think about creating stability around the bottom leg and around the pelvis. And maybe think about turning your navel to the left. Great. All right, and then let's come back to center. And now you'll pass both pieces of the strap into the left hand, the other hand. Left leg stays long on the floor. And let's take the right leg over to the left, but just a little bit. Over the midline, but not too far. Stay there and take a very slight bend in the knee. And now think about moving the right hip down away from the head so there's more space in the right side of the waist. And then press the foot into the strap to re-lengthen, keeping the leg on the diagonal. Exactly. Can you press the inner foot as much as the outer foot in this position? And if you'd like to go further over, feel free. If not, stay put. But if you are going further over, the right hip will lift off the floor. And that'll likely move the stretch into a different part of the leg. Awesome. All Alrighty, friends, let's come back to center. We'll release the leg. Just pause for a sec before we swap sides and notice, again, any differences between the two sides. And the brain is really good at learning by contrast, which is why I often will have us take a little pause, a little recheck. All right, let's do the other side. So up the left leg, you can use any hand hold that you like. And just yogi's choice for a minute or so. You could do movement, you could hold still. You could then straighten the leg, you could move the leg, you could move the ankle, anything really. Yeah. And you might again notice that this side is a different side. We humans would love to be symmetrical, but alas, we're not. Wouldn't that be nice? All right, let's pause here and take a little bend in the left knee. And before we straighten the leg, notice if the low back has flattened and see if you can regain your normal lumbar curve. Keeping that, slowly but actively press the foot into the strap as the leg starts to go straight again. Yeah, nice. Let's keep that idea and start to draw some little circles using your arms to steer. Yeah, so the foot's drawing a little circle on the ceiling. You guys are doing well. We'll keep it kind of a smallish circle for now. Awesome, let's go the other direction. Yeah. And then we'll pause here. Bend the bottom leg, the right leg. Pass both pieces of the strap into the left hand. And then as you're ready, let the left leg go left and the right knee go right. Try to stay as level as you can across the back of the pelvis on the two sides. Yeah. Then once you're in position, if you wish, you could pick up the right leg and let the foot hover off the floor. Just hold it with your right hand. If you don't want to do that, just stay exactly as you are. Yeah. So this one's more about the inner thigh stretch. The next version will be more about the stability. So let's do that now. Come back to center. Stretch the right leg long on the floor. And press through the heel. And now the baby elephant has come to sit upon the right thigh close to the hip crease. Keep it there, and then we'll take the left leg again to the left. Be nice and slow. And only go so far as you can keep the right hip down, which might mean you don't get as much stretch, you don't go as far. That's how it goes for this one. Yeah. Great. When you're ready, we'll return to center and pass both pieces of the strap into the right hand. Bend the knee a little bit. Keep the knee bent and take the leg just a bit over the midline, not too far. And then from there, see if you can make more distance between the left hip and the left armpit. With more space. And then keep that as you re-lengthen the leg. Yeah. You guys are looking at your feet, they look glorious. If you wish, you can go over further, letting the left hip lift up and taking the leg over more to the right. If that's not a great decision, just stay exactly as you are. Good. Okay, let's come back to center. We'll release the leg down. Just take another check-in here. Notice where your body meets the floor. And the weight of your legs, the weight of the pelvis. Let's add in a head turn, just an easy no, side to side. See if that's changed at all. Yeah. And then let the head rest and create a little stretch, just a little reach through the arms, maybe a little circle through the ankles and the wrists. We're about to move off of the back, so whatever you need to do down here, go ahead and do it. And when you're ready, we'll turn over and we'll meet in the hands and knees position. So take your time. If you need padding for the knees, put down a blanket. And let's do have the blocks available at the front. We'll use them in a little bit. Yeah. Looks like there's a dinosaur on my mat. There's like claw marks. Never had it last. All right, friends. So from your hands and knees position, let's just start to warm up a little through the spine. And for the moment, that can be anything at all. You can make some circles or side to side. Just take whatever feels good. And then let's pause here and we'll take, I've been calling this the Sphinx Child's Pose. So widen the knees a little bit. Send your hips back towards the heels. You don't have to go all the way back. And then forearms are on the floor parallel to each other. Have the palms facing down. Let the chest drop for a second towards the mat, and on the next inhale, try to pull the floor back with your arms. Let the hips lift a little more and then the elbows lift a bit. That's the inhale, and on the exhale, just relax down. So we'll take that a few more times. Inhale, a little pull to lift, and exhale, down we go. See if you can feel a bit of work around the lower part of the shoulder blades and the upper back. Nice. And then the next time we come, let's come all the way back to our all fours position. Reset your knees so they're right underneath you. And we'll take the right leg back, toes tuck under. Give yourself a little movement here, a little push-pull. No, that was my ankle. And then let's do the other side, just a little gentle movement. Great. And then we'll reset, 2 knees on the floor. Take the right leg back again, and this time we'll lift it up. Lift up from the inner thigh, and then very slowly take the leg over to the right side, and then let it cross behind over to the left side. See if you can do this without side bending through the spine. It's really just the leg moving. Yeah. And then the next time the leg crosses towards the left, we'll stay. Bend the knee and take the right knee behind the left knee, and if you need to scooch your whole self a little more towards the center of the mat, you can. So it's kind of the start of a Gomukhasana, but we're not going to do Gomukhasana. Let's take cat-cow with this crisscross leg position. And then I should have said this before, let's pause in neutral. If it's available, you can let the feet come wider apart so there's more rotation in the leg, and that may or may not be possible, so it's up to you. Now from here, if you're up for a little more, go get your blocks, and then let's start to climb up a little bit higher in the upper part of the body. Now if that's not going to work for you, you'll stay lower or you'll just stop at any point. Some of you will go the highest height of blocks, and then it's a little awkward to build it, but you might even make a little block tower here. Yeah. Now in the position, wherever you ultimately end up, see if you can lift a little through the belly and let the buttocks flesh move down a bit. Oh, yeah.
Without shrugging the shoulders.
Without hunching up the shoulders, exactly. Try to relax your face. And then extract yourself delicately here. We'll come on down from a little tower, a little perch. We'll unhook the legs. Oh, yeah. And then let's just take a normal cat-cow in the center. Yeah, a few rounds of that. Now I'll have you guys come onto the belly. I'm going to stay here, and we'll do that Sphinx position again. Don't worry, we'll get the second leg, but it's a little detour. So we're on the elbows, the forearms. Let the chest move down for a sec, and then on the next inhale, pull the mat back, lengthen to lift, and then on the exhale, lower it down. So do that a few more times, lengthen to lift, a little Sphinx variation. That's it. And then as you're ready here, let's press back and up. You can go, if you need a little child's pose first, you can take it. And then ultimately we'll end up in our all fours position again. So we're ready to get there. All right, let's take the left leg back and we'll lift up from the inner thigh. Now before we continue, can you broaden the collarbones, de-shrug the shoulders, and lift a little through the abdomen? Take the left leg slowly to the left, and then slowly to the right, and see if you can do these without creating a big side bend. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we'll just try to isolate it for the moment. You got it. And then the next time the leg goes over to the right, we'll stay, bend the knee and cross the left knee behind the right, and if you need to scoochie yourself in a little bit so you're in just a better position, you can. And then let's take our cat-cows in this crisscrossed leg position. Great. And then we'll pause. If it's available, you can start to climb the arms a little higher on your blocks. Maybe you go the highest height, maybe you make a little tower, maybe you stay low and say, no thanks, I'm good here. And then if you do come up, see if you can lift the abdomen a little bit, send the buttocks down a little bit, and relax the neck. Yeah. Now this one is very interesting. Some folks claim they always feel the leg that's in back. Some say it's always the leg that's in front. For me, it's always the right leg, whether it's in front or the back.
And the stretch, piriformis.
The piriformis, bravo. All right, let's delicately come out. Don't just kind of collapse here. One step at a time, out we come. We'll set the blocks aside and let's take a few rounds of our cat-cow again. Yeah. Oh, listen, we haven't even done a dog yet, huh? I think that's the next place. So let's pause. Take the hands a little further forward, tuck the toes under, lift the knee, send the hips up and back, and just take a little time for yourself here in down dog. That could be stillness, that could be movement, any kind of movement really, whatever you like. Okay, and then let's meet in a standing forward fold. You can either bring the hands back or the feet forward or both. Bend the knees a little bit. Let's press your weight into the heels. Use the inhale to come all the way up, arms lift overhead. And then the exhale just lowers the arms down, and we made it to stand, and the sun is coming up. It's going to be a good day. Let's circle out the hips. Just make a little hula hoop here. And another direction. Nice work. So let the movement settle. Let's head to the front of the mat, and in a bit we'll be doing some lunges. So keep the blocks available, and if you like to have a blanket for your knee, just have that handy. And then we'll find our mountain pose. You can stand with the feet touching or keep a little bit of space. That's up to you. Let's everybody bend the knees slightly. Shift the weight more into your heels. Keep the weight in the heels as you lengthen the legs. Inhale the arms overhead. And on the exhale, we'll come down, forward fold, maybe bending the knees. Halfway lift, chest moves forward. Let's do that again. Come down and do bend the knees. Weight is in the heels. Inhale all the way up. We come arms overhead. And then coming right back down again, forward fold. Halfway up, chest moves forward. This time we'll lower down. Let's walk the feet back into plank pose. Feel free to have the knees down. I'm going to take that version myself. Can you broaden the collarbones? Can you lift a little through the abdomen? And without going anywhere in the arms, try to squeeze the forearms again towards the midline. Yeah, keep that. Shift a little forward, bend the elbows an inch and hold. Can you keep the collarbones broad and the abdomen lifted? Yeah, very slowly. We'll ease our way down onto the belly. Of course, you can put knees down first. Just come all the way down, nice and easy. And then once you're in position here, pick up one leg at a time. Scooch it back and down so that you have a little more room in the front of the hips. And then we'll bend the right knee, holding onto the foot or to the ankle, just a simple quad stretch. Yeah. Now notice, as soon as you got here, did you create a death grip around the tailbone? See if you can loosen that, but at the same time, do create a little lift up through the lower abdomen. Yeah. And if you can't reach the foot, no worries, just hold it there. You can use a strap, or you can do the version I'm doing on the side. Yeah. Let's release that and change to the other leg. Same thing, let go of any death grip around the tail, but do keep a nice little lift up through the abdomen. Okay, so we'll let that one go. Stay on the belly and just wiggle a little bit. Let the pelvis take a little side to side, a little rock. Yeah, and then we'll head back to downward facing dog. Take your time to get there. Adho Mukha Svanasana. And I'll add in a little element to it. So once you're in position, bend the knees and try to press the mat down and forward through your hands so the torso lengthens. And then at the very uppermost part of the thighs, can you press out a little wider? And notice how that kind of widens the knees and pushes the weight to your pinkies. Plug in a little through the ankles so the weight's more over the ball of the big toe. And then start to go straighter in the legs without shifting forward. Ah, yogis. Looking good. Let's come to the top of the mat here, feet forward. Stay low once you're in position. Just one halfway lift. We'll use that to transition. And then on the way down, let's step the right leg back, lowering the knee down. You could put a blanket under the knee if you need. You can have the toes tucked or straight back. That's up to you. And now on the next inhale, let's shift forward and lift the chest at the end of the movement. On the exhale, we'll shift back, going any amount straighter in the front leg. So do that a few times. Inhale, forward, little lift. And exhale, taking it back. Exactly, a couple more times. Great. Now we'll take a more of an extended hamstring stretch. So the next time we pull back, let's stay. And if you would like to walk the arms a little further back, that's fine. Now for this, most of us have a tendency to shift the pelvis right, kind of as a little counterbalance. Let's go left. Let's actually go both. Let's go side to side a few times, nice and slow. And just notice how that changes the line of pull on the back of the leg. Next time we're slightly, but not all the way left, stay. And can you drop the left sitting going down? Can you move the chest forward? And then from here, slowly, start to bring the sole of the left foot towards the floor. It doesn't have to touch. Yeah, so we're kind of pointing through the toes. And then slowly, gently, bend at the ankle so the toes kind of angle in towards the midline. Yeah, nice. Move the chest forward. If it's available, you can walk the arms to the left, either just a little bit, or all the way to the outside of the left leg. Only if that's a good idea. Now, once you're in your new position, the pelvis is likely swung a little right, and that's fine, leave it alone. But see if you can draw the pelvis back and the rib cage forward, kind of moving in opposition. We breathe in, yogis. Just have to ask. Now let's maintain basically the same position. Relax the foot for a second. And now go onto the heel, lift the toes off the floor, spread the toes wide, and can you draw the pinky toe towards you? And imagine you were pressing on something with the ball of the big toe without actually going anywhere. Just a little bit. Yes. Gorgeous work. Let's back off. If the arms went to the left, bring them back to center. Let's rebend the front knee. And now walk it a little wider and bring the arms to the inside of the leg. That's it. Let's make a few little circles here just to kind of work it out. Yeah. And another direction with that. Alrighty, friends. We're coming out on this side. Let's pause. Readjust the front leg so it's more in the center. Lift the back knee and take downward facing dog pose. Use that as a little check-in. Yeah. Notice any difference between the right leg and the left. My left leg is, the heel is closer to the floor. And then your choice. You could stay here for a few breaths. You could take a little rest in child's pose. Or if you want a bit more work, you can do inhale forward to plank and exhale back to down dog. Yeah, so a few rounds of whichever anything is fun. I love it when everybody does something different. And then whenever you're ready here, from down dog, let's come to the front of the mat. So feet step forward. Same as before, just a halfway lift. So we'll move the chest forward. And then as we lower down, blocks if you need them, left leg comes back, blanket if you need it under the knee. Good. And then at first we'll go forward and back. So in the inhale, we'll come forward, little lift in the chest at the end of the movement. And then on the exhale, we'll take it back, going straighter in the front leg. So that's the pattern, a couple times more. Great. Now we'll pause the next time we shift back. And notice here if the pelvis has gone over to the left, you can walk the arms back if you need. Let the pelvis take a little journey from side to side. And just notice how that changes the line of pull across the back of the leg. Great, we're gonna pause next time we go a little bit to the right, not all the way, and see if you can drop the right sitting bone without swinging the pelvis left. Move the chest forward. Oh yeah. And then from here, slowly start to bring the sole of the foot down towards the floor. It doesn't have to touch. And then we'll bend at the ankles so the toes bow in a little bit towards the midline. Move the chest forward, and if you're up for it, walk the arms a little to the right or come to the outside of the right leg. Your choice. And sometimes it's a yay on one side and a nay on the other side. Are you guys feeling this like in the here at all on the top of the foot, side of the shin? Yeah, sometimes you'll feel it too in the upper part of the leg. So we'll stay in the position, but back off a little on the foot. Stay on the heel, pull the toes up, spread the toes, and try to draw the pinky toe towards you, and press the ball of the big toe like you're stepping into something. Yeah. Good. Keep breathing. Nice work, friends. We're nearly done here. Let's unwind. Rebend the front knee. If the arms went to the side, you can come back in. And then let's walk the right foot wider, bringing the arms to the inside. That's it. We'll take a few little circles around, just on your own. And another way. Good. All right, friends, let's pause here. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. Scooch the right foot in a little so you're more stable. And then let's head into our downward facing dog pose. And just as before, your choice. You can just hold down dog. You could take a little rest. You could dog plank dog. If you want to go all the way down to the belly cobra, etc., that's an option too. Yeah. Great. And then from here, friends, let's go to down dog and use that as a transition to come up. You can either walk the hands to the legs or the legs to the hands. Bend the knees once you're in the forward fold and use the inhale to grow tall. Arms will lift right overhead. Yes, indeed. And then we'll set the arms down. I keep knocking into these things. And we'll take a few little hula hoops. Good work. Another direction. Okay. And then from here, friends, let's do this. It'll be a warrior one, and we'll transition into some other stuff. So make sure the blocks are available at the front. Let's stand at the front with the hands just right at the top of the pelvis. And then we'll step the right leg back with the heel down on the floor. And as you're in the position, really press the heel down. And see how when you press down, you can lift up a little through the front of the body. Let's also lift up through the arms. Stay long and lifted as you start to bend the front knee coming into warrior one pose. Yeah. So we're going to add on to this. On the inhale, come back up. And then on the exhale, bend the elbows out to the sides, rebend the front knee, and it's warrior one with the cactus arm. Do that a few times. So inhale takes us up, and exhale takes us down. The whole time we want to keep the back heel rooted. Let's go again up, and again down. And then this next one will be a little different. So we come up, and now on the way down, hinge forward a little bit. So you're kind of on the diagonal. Let's lower the hands down, blocks any height you like. And then notice here, for a lot of us, we tend to round. See if you can draw the left hip crease back. Draw the chest forward and try to keep that as you press the left heel down into the floor and forward to go straighter in the leg. Nice. Now, just like we did in the lunges earlier, can you take that little tail wag so the pelvis shifts from side to side? Become aware of your tailbone and see if you can land in a place where the tailbone is right in the middle between the two halves of the pelvis. From here, on the inhale, create a little more length through the torso. On the exhale, your choice, either just back off a little or come into more of a forward fold. So that's your choice. Every inhale, a little bit of length, and every exhale, either back off or come into more of a forward fold. Yeah. So again, Jocelyn, turn the back leg in a little bit. Yeah, and you can step it forward if the heel doesn't reach. Yeah, that looks good. Nice. All right, everybody, let's listen up. The transition's a little different. Come into that halfway lift again. And now you'll start to pivot to your right. And if you're on blocks, just bring them with. And we'll end up in this wide-legged forward fold. But before we go deeper into it, look at your feet. And likely one foot is ahead of the other. See if you can line them up. Now on the next inhale, move the chest forward. Create a little length. And then on the exhale, start to lower down, possibly ditching the blocks, possibly walking the arms back towards in the direction of your feet. Yeah. Sorry, Padottanasana is the name of this one. And then Jocelyn, turn your toes straight forward towards here. Even more. Yes, good. But the legs have a tendency to rotate out for this one. You want to keep them parallel. Right, and then we'll stay in the position. Bend the right knee a little and shift the pelvis back in space. That's it. Come back to center. Bend the left knee a little and shift the pelvis back in space. Good. Take that one more time on each side. Inner thigh, I'm guessing. So you feel here. Awesome. And then let's reset ourselves. If we're using blocks, let's go back on them and heel toe the feet in just a little bit before we come up. Slight bend in the knees, tone the abdomen, hands come to the hips, hinge forward to come up. Yes. All right. And then let's reset ourselves. We'll come to the front of the mat, take your blocks with you. Same little pattern on the second side. So hands here right at the top of the pelvis. Left leg comes back with the heel down. And then let's really actively press it down. Create a little lift up through the front of the body, lift up through the arms. And then we'll bend the front knee here, coming into our warrior one. And let's add in the pattern. So inhale, we come up. Exhale, we bend the elbows, come back down. Warrior one with cactus arms. Do that a few more times. All right, let's take one more straight up. And the next time we come down, we'll hinge forward. Good. Let's land the hands down. Any height of blocks is fine. And then from here, notice if you're rounding your back, and let's undo that. So draw back through the right hip crease, forward through the chest. Slowly press into the right heel to start to lengthen out the leg. Let's inhale here to create some more length in the spine. And then on the exhale, your choice, either just back off a little bit or come into more of a forward fold. So let's do that a few times more. Inhale, we lengthen, and exhale, either back it off or take more forward fold. Now for this one, if you took the more forward fold, let's come back into that half lift position. And then you'll take the blocks with you. Let's start to pivot to the left. The right leg will turn in. Sorry for the view. And then check out your feet here. Make sure they're on the same line. Let's lengthen the spine first, and then on your way down, start to lower down, if that's available. Maybe you ditch the blocks, maybe you walk the arms back. Take what you like. I'm gonna turn around just because I don't like facing that way. Yeah, nice job, you guys. Let's do the same thing we did before with the inner thigh stretch. So bend one knee and shift the pelvis back in space, just a little bit. That's it. Return to center and do the other side. Come back to center. Whatever your first side was, just know what that was. Take the arms a little bit the other direction, and then go again. And that might bring you a little bit deeper. Yeah. And then we'll return to center, walk the arms the other way, bend the second knee side, and then we shift back again. Good. And then let's return to center here. If you were on the blocks, come back up there, and then heel toe the feet in a little bit. Create length, slight bend in the knees, hands to the hips. Hinge your way up to center. Got it. And then we'll bring ourselves the rest of the way in. You guys can face me. Let's take another little hula hoop. Great. And another direction. Awesome. Okay. So let's come down, we'll have a seat, and we'll take the figure 4 stretch from a seated position. I'll show you that, and if you'd rather do it laying down, that's fine. So we'll be here at first. Lean back a little, cross the right ankle over the left thigh. And then notice here, at least for me, I'm kind of rounded, kind of slumping back. Press down into the floor. Can you lift up and rock more onto the sitting bones? Yeah. And sometimes the hands get a little tired. You can run your fists, fingertips, knuckles, whatever you want. Now, if you're not feeling like you're getting any stretch in the right outer hip, lift the pelvis a little, scooch it forward, and then come down. But a little can go a long way, so just do that itty bitty bit by bit until you find a spot that you like. Yeah, Carrie's like, no, I don't even need to. And then if you'd like to take a little side to side rock, that's an option. I kind of like the seated version because the alignment's already there. You don't have to do much. It's just kind of already there. All right, friends, to get out, let's just bend the elbows, unhook the leg, sit for a second. You probably will want to move the fingers around a little bit. Yeah. Okay, let's do side 2. So lean back a little bit. Left one crosses over. Press down into the floor, lengthen the torso, rock more towards the sitting bones. And then only if you need to do it, you can bump the hips a little forward. If not, you stay put. And you can add in a little side to side. Dawson, reach out a little more through your heel, the left heel. There it is. Do you feel that in the hip? Good. Oh, I saw the clouds on my way in, and I was like, oh no, they're going to disappear. They're still out there. It might be a nice cloudy day. Yeah. I was watching the Olympic marathon on whatever day that was. Oh my goodness, it was so hot, but it was at least a little cloudy, so could have been worse. Those poor guys. All right, release that. Let's come out, stretch out the legs, move the fingers around a little bit. Yeah, if you need to move the ankles around a little bit, you can. Alrighty, friends. So we'll head back down onto your back. Go ahead, take your time to get there. And then once you're in position, let's have the knees bent and the feet kind of wide on the mat. And we just did a lot of hip flexion, which is bringing the legs and the torso closer together. So let's do some windshield wipers to create a little hip extension. Yeah. Carrie, take your feet a little wider, and Jocelyn, take your feet a little closer. No, I meant closer to your bum. Yeah, and then stay wide. Yeah, exactly. Good thing we have a small class, right? I don't have to tell 10 people. Let's pause the next time the knees go to the right side. Stay there, and now think about the left knee. Pretend there's like a button, an elevator button, and you gotta push it, but only your knee is allowed to push it. It's straight in front. Yeah, good. And then undo. Let's go to the left, so the knees drop left, and then the right knee gets to push the button on the elevator. That's it. Go again to the right. The left knee pushes the button, and if you'd like, you can reach your arms back in the direction of your head, kind of in opposition of the leg. Yeah, it's a nice stretch for the whole left front of the body. And then we'll undo in our last elevator button here. Maybe it's a bad analogy for COVID, I don't know. And then we come back to center. Let's reset your feet so they're about hip width distance apart. Take your hands on the thighs close to the hip creases with kind of a flat palm. You'll breathe in. And on the exhale, just press straight ahead, hands right into the legs. And then on the inhale, you'll back off from the pressure. Do that a few times. Exhale, nice little press. Then inhale to back it off. Let's go 2 more. Yeah. Hold on. And then from here, friends, stretch the legs out long on the floor. And then this one, it's a little hard to explain. The feet, you'll do a quick point flex in the feet, but you want to kind of catch the mat with the backs of the heels, so your whole body ends up creating a little bounce up and down. Like if you're on one of those itty-bitty trampolines, you're not really jumping, you're just kind of bouncing. And I'll come by and mess with you if that carries. Can I put my hands on your ankles? Okay, just relax. And then we'll be, Jocelyn, can I do that with you? It's way more fun if somebody else does it. Yeah. Sorry, Allison, I can't reach you in cyberspace, but you can imagine I'm jiggling your legs. And then when you're done with that, just let the movement start to settle. If you're comfortable in this position for Shavasana, please stay. If you would feel more comfortable in a different position, go ahead and get there now. Yeah. And then for everybody, let's take another check-in. So we did at the beginning. Noticing the 2 sides of the pelvis, back, the curvature of the lumbar spine, and up a little higher, the shoulder blades, and back of the neck, back of the head. Ask your shoulders and your neck to relax. And ask your face to relax. All the muscles around the eyes. And right in between the eyebrows. Imagine the entire back of your body. So becoming a little more spread out, a little wider across. Allow the whole body to breathe every time that you breathe. And to breathe a little deeper. Very gently let your head turn from side to side. Maybe make a little movement, a little wiggle in your fingers, your toes, ankles, wrists. Yeah, if it would feel good to reach the arms above your head, maybe take a little movement here. Whenever it feels right, friends, bend the knees and roll to one side. Take whatever time you need to come upright again while you're sitting. Hands will find heart center. Just thank your own body here for everything that it's able to do. And thank yourself for showing up. Namaste.